and welcome back to the 941 Sports Zone after a 1 week timeout. Let's say that we really weren't expecting. We didn't look at the calendar over at Bogey's when we were doing the shows over there, and we found out they had a Christmas party last week.
My son, I said, "Where are you going?" He goes, "Christmas party." I said, "At Bogey's?" He goes, "Yeah." I go, "That canceled our show."
Yeah, that's it. That's what it was. So anyway, we wanted to do at least one more show before the holiday. We'll be off for the next 2 weeks. Retooling, I'd say, a little bit, as well as resting up from a long football season. But we'll be moving from this facility here at Douglas Jeep, the main facility where the new cars are being sold, over to the used car, brand new lot, located, if you're familiar, anywhere in Venice on the bypass, next to Detweiler's in that area over there.
The showstopper, the new shiny toy.
And it's an indoor facility. I think it holds something like 80 cars on the inside potentially. So get to show off there.
Is that where Jolson used to be?
Correct.
Yeah,
that's where
Jolson
Pipe.
Pipe.
That's back in
The
the
old
day.
Johnny Smith used to work for him.
Oh, everybody did it. A lot of people
Dip
work at
into
Jolson.
the old Indian bag.
Yeah.
So the 941 Sports Zone will be off for 2 weeks after this, and then be back on I think that we'll start taping on the week of the 8th of January and get back into the swing of things from there. So for this night, we'll do a little bit of reminiscing from what happened over the last couple of weeks, and maybe looking a little forward to what 2024 has to hold for local sports and whatever else may cross your mind for that matter. Last week, by the way, I have guests. I'm rambling and we're talking to each other. I don't know. If you don't know already who it is. To my far left, that is athletic director extraordinaire Pete Dombrowski from Venice High School. Pete, how are you doing tonight?
Thanks for having me tonight.
Oh,
appreciate
wonderful.
it. I didn't know Easy was going to be here.
So Mike Lay
you guys
is here
surprised
too.
me.
I'm here to keep you out of trouble.
We have had
How's
Mike.
that work so far since I've known you?
Full-time job.
We have had Mike here as our college football expert. And
Expert?
Well,
Okay, I'm not saying that.
He had a co-expert.
Leave him alone. He's on a roll.
So Mike's here tonight to talk a little bit about what happened not only in the local area for football, how it ended, but also about some things that happened around the state, some of our state schools as well. With that, we'll tack right into what I guess was probably paramount to our interests over the last few weeks, which was, of course, the local high school football scene. Before I go much further, congratulations to Cardinal Mooney High School. Cardinal Cougars winning their first state championship since 1972.
Right.
A gentleman by the name of Larry Sandberg.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Was Sandberg part of 72?
Yeah, he was on that team.
I'm pretty sure.
72? I thought he was older. Gosh.
Let's give it to Larry.
Wow.
But anyway, so 72 was the chance, but they did a great job. Trinity Catholic out of Ocala was their opponent. Close game, ended up pulling out in the end, and congratulations to their Jared Clark and the whole staff up there and all those kids. Sarasota County keeping it in the 941, getting that state championship for our area. As far as what we were concerned with in a lot of ways, Mike, obviously, other than being a college football expert, was for many years was a coach on our freshman squad, the developmental squad.
Yes.
When sometimes you'd have 14 kids, and sometimes you'd have 114 kids, depending on the year and what was going on. So
Exactly.
But the locally here and from Venice, state championship game, Lakeland versus Venice, a rematch from last year, and Lakeland again came out with a big victory and a game that was, I would say, I couldn't have predicted the score because I didn't think that each team would allow the other team to score that many points. With being 60-48 was the final score. Any opinions on that from you guys?
I think everybody was shocked the way Venice offense had been playing, like running clocks going in. I think the expectations were high. After that first quarter, you knew whoever started making the mistakes first, that was going to cost them. When I coach, I tell kids, you play a bad team and you turn the ball over, you made them good. Play a good team, turn the ball over, you made them great. Play a great team, you turn the ball over, you lost.
Right.
I think there were some situations that, penalties.
Yep.
Third and long, it's really important on third and long. They broke a couple for big first downs and a couple of touchdowns on third down. And I think that's when you really have to shut them down on third down, which just didn't happen. And my opinion, I thought, maybe they sat and watched that Armwood game because that was the last time somebody ran wild on us. That kid ran for 320. I think that shocked all of us. Larry Shannon John got together. The coaching staff got together. They did shut down a lot of the run game.
Yeah.
But it looks similar to me like the Armwood game.
The thing about that game, in my opinion, was that I don't think that Venice realized how fast that Lakeland was until they got in there with them, because there were a couple of plays that it looked like, specifically the one, guys running to the left, reverses field, and comes back. That was not something that was just flat out speed.
Athletic skill.
And I don't know that they had seen a team like that speed in the last few weeks.
Right.
But it's a hard jump to go from the beginning of the season and not see a team at that level.
Well, you look at the Land. The Land didn't have it. You know, it was a power running team. So you're going from one extreme to the other, running a power team, just running the ball to that. And it's just unfortunate we couldn't get to the quarterback. He had a bad shoulder. I mean, some of the passes were just floating. You're like, oh my gosh, you should be able. Hopefully, we can pick that off. And
I'm kind of shocked that they kept him in there that long too. That they didn't have a capable backup to do what he did, because he didn't bring anything to the table. He certainly wasn't going to run the ball.
No.
At that point in time,
he couldn't throw.
And he couldn't throw. So, just as a coach, I mean, the benefit of the well-being of the player. Put the guy in behind him if you're going to do the same thing.
They got into a mode, Lakeland did, where they're like, until they stop it, we're not going to stop doing it.
Well,
No,
you know what you have. I've always said, don't stop it as a coach. Let the other team try to stop it.
Right.
But you got to remember something. People said to me, I said, listen, we were at the dance.
Oh yeah.
We might have danced with the fat lady, but we danced. Everybody was home watching us, and we were there. So that gives us, gives the credit. It would have been great to win it. It would have been awesome to win it. We expected to win it, which was great.
Yeah.
The kids were upset, which is great. I mean, I've seen teams where they lost and they didn't care.
Right.
Yeah.
Our kids cared. Our coaching staff cared, and everybody was home. Watch all the 4S schools, and how many are there in the state?
Quite a few.
We're sitting home on the TV watching Venice play. So it was still great we made it there. I mean, that's a big step to make it there, to go back to the days when we're 0-10 and 1-9. And I was there. I remember telling kids, tell your parents to spread out in the stands, make it look like we have people. It was tough. I mean, they were making jokes about us. And to go from that to, I just saw the rankings that powerhouse in the state of Florida were number 5.
Right.
And the other schools in front of us are all private schools.
Right.
So
and that
says a lot for Venice.
There it is. So you could say let's say from 16, or use that as a benchmark. You've been in the state semifinal every year since 16, with the exception of the COVID year, which was sort of a weird one where we played a regional game against St. Thomas Aquinas because nobody in Miami was playing that year. They all opted out.
Yes.
So it was a very weird situation. So that means a lot. That's the 4th state final that we've been in. Would be 17, and then the 3 in a row for these past 3 years. So a lot to be said about that.
I've always said, like Bum Phillips said, one year we knocked on the door. Mm-hmm. Next year we banged on the door. Next year we want to kick that damn door in.
Right, and I need to say, well, what does this do for you? Everybody says, hey, wait till next year, but these kids expect to be there next year, and that's a lot to be said about. They don't.
Well, I think that's all Venice athletics. It has
correct.
Years back. I remember they got excited over a district trophy. Oh my gosh! Now we got a district trophy. We were in regionals. It's not the excitement is. The expectations is a state championship for every sport now.
They're all in the same boat.
The bar has been set. That's what they're aiming for, and it's really awesome that we set that high and that our athletic programs have all of them. I mean, it's just a great coaching. I mean, our coaches don't leave.
Right.
They don't leave. And consistency, people say, how do you win? Consistency. Your coaches don't leave. Your assistant coaches don't leave.
You're 100% right.
Everything. You're going to change a head coach every couple of years. You're starting from square one.
We've seen it with some of the teams in the area where they got into that situation where it was 1 and 2 years out, 1 and 2 years out.
Well, the problem with a lot of them, they're can't get assistant coaches on campus.
Right.
And it's really important to have those coaches on campus. I think we've
had that happen a long time ago.
Well, we've got a lot of coaches on campus with football, and so they see the kids in the hallway, they see the kids at lunchtime, they see the kids in class. They're not to see a referral on an athlete, because like I'm doing referrals now, is very rare, because our expectations is this: you're going to act right as you're a leader in the community, on the field and off the field, and our kids are doing a great job in the classroom also.
Directly to you, Pete, you were there on Saturday night at the game. As far as the show is concerned, what the FHSA put on there, I
talked to them.
There was a few hiccups. I'll let you
I made a
expand.
phone call.
Okay.
And one, like I said, Craig Damon and I go way back. So
Okay.
I picked up the phone and called Craig. I said, one, people were complaining about the venue. Well, it's a bid system. For each sport, they bid it out. They were the only ones that bid for it.
Okay.
One other team in a venue in Orlando bid for it, but it was a grass field.
Okay.
There's no way you're going to play 9 games. Imagine what that field would look like when
Sure.
we got there.
Yeah,
Sure.
especially with the weather. If the weather goes through.
Yeah.
I know as an AD at our school, I'm doing things. I'm trying to make sure everything's, little things, big things. There's always something going on. So I don't hear the music. I don't hear what's,
Right.
I really
Right.
don't. The next day I'll get an email, and we've cleaned it up. The DJ, and I told Craig, the DJ there thought he was there, that everybody's paying $20 to see him.
Right. Right.
You know, the music was not family oriented. It really wasn't a good time. I felt for anybody. It seemed like the home team was on the visitor side with the chains,
Right.
which shouldn't have been. I didn't notice till we got back, and John told me, thank God we weren't the visitors team. They were changing in a tent.
In the tent.
Yeah.
And then the team in front of us, St. Thomas Aquinas, won the game. They couldn't get them off the field. They couldn't get them. I said, then you give them a time limit. You give us a time. Everything's a time limit there. So what had happened is, and it really said I was coming in. I took the bus up with the cheerleaders in that 5.5 hour ride. But never again. But it was good. I didn't have to drive. Yeah, I did. I got a text, and they said, we're running late. We were supposed to get in the locker room at 6.
Right.
So Robbie sent me a text message. Was in charge of football up there, Robbie Liederman. And I said, okay. And I sent it off to Larry and to John saying, hey, you're not going to get in at 6:30. I assume when I got there, we're getting at 6:30. We get there. They're still sitting on the bus out in the parking lot.
Yeah. In the street, actually.
And
yeah.
John is regimented.
Mm-hmm.
He regiments every time.
Yep.
The kids know what time they're changing, what time. Now the whole thing's out the window.
Right.
And that's what I said to Craig. I said, this is what's bothered me. If he could text me at 5 o'clock and say, we're not getting in until 6:30, you could have texted me and said, now we really got a hiccup. Tell you guys they're not getting until 7. We're pushing the game. I look back, and all of a sudden, Lakeland's going onto the field.
Right.
I said, whoa. I said, guys, that's not fair. How are our guys still just getting in the locker room? You're going to let them on the field? I said, you got to pull them back, which they did pull them back, which was fair. But
it was silly. I mean, some of the stuff.
it wasn't like Pink. When we were down in Fort Lauderdale, that Pink Stadium, everything was ran smooth. It really went well.
I thought the people were super nice as far as the Florida A&M people who were there.
Right, yeah,
super
yes,
nice.
yep.
But the facility itself, to have multiple games, not a singular game, but multiple games,
9
was
games.
very, very hard or 3 in a day,
Right.
because you had fans coming in and coming out.
Wow.
You have one-way streets. You
Yeah.
got street vendors. I mean,
But that's what happens when you go to a bid. And I stood up at a compliance meeting. You know me, I'm not very shy. I know you guys think. I stood up with all the athletic directors of the state of Florida. I said, why are we doing these venues? Oh, well, it's really special for the kid. I said, special? Is it 100 yards?
right.
Why are we not taking the higher seed and going to their school
Right.
and playing it there? One, we're in it for them. I mean, I know we paid them about $17,000 for playoff money.
Right.
They didn't do anything. I got a form and said, here's your officials. I've got to go get a check for the officials, bring the officials in, talk. I have to do all that, and we have to pay the FHSAA.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. But if you go to the school, we're looking to make money. I mean, it was $3,600 a bus.
Right.
Yeah.
We take an offensive, defensive bus up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You want to. You're in it to get money because of other sports. Football is your goal mine.
cash cow.
If you don't bring anybody into your program for football, you're
in
not
trouble.
going to be able to
Right.
take care
You're in
of
trouble.
the non-venue sports.
Right.
So I said, let's just go to the higher seed and let them play at that school. When we won the regional, I don't have a trophy there. Because I'm not going to buy a trophy and give it to you if you're another school. I'm not doing that.
Right.
That's just not I don't think that's right. So every school would order it. So we win the state championship, we'll order the trophy, or the FHSA ships it to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they know in a week it takes, FedEx to ship it down, and we can have it there. And I think that, probably that's the bug me, I really think that for it to be successful, is the FHSA needs to step away from trying to run the show and let it go back to the school.
I think that's really a good idea, because once again, let's just look at it from, if there was a state championship at Venice High School, how many people would come to that game?
I'm going to guess, even with playing Lakeland, 10,000 people, easy.
Okay. So
easy.
how many people went to that game at Florida A&M?
You know what? I'm going to guess maybe 2,000.
2,000.
That's my guess because
Right.
it wasn't very crowded.
Right, so
and
2,000.
the stadium looks empty, and that was my point. The kids are playing in an empty stadium.
And you know what it felt like after the rush on the field and everything, you felt like you were the third quarter of the jamboree.
Get
and the
out.
spring.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly. The old-fashioned jamboree. I
Hey,
figure you guys are old. You remember the jamboree.
You're getting dressed in a parking lot next to the bus because there is no locker room.
Right.
You got to carry your water on the field real fast and carry your water off the field when it's done. And I think the only teams that probably had a fair shake or a good chance was the 10 o'clock in the morning games. They went there and they had they could do their
first
thing.
game.
their
the
first game. Yep. And there was
Everything's
no
fine.
timetable. They got their game. They didn't have to sit back.
And the field, even though it's AstroTurf, by the time we got on it, it was slippery
yeah.
and raggedy.
well, the dew it was cool out
Yeah.
in the dew and.
It's along those lines, as far as making it fair, I don't think you'll ever get to the A team hosting the championship. I think there always will be a quote unquote neutral or a stadium somebody travels to. You and I had talked about this. Put it somewhere central, leave it in Orlando, Tampa, or then.
But the guys
somewhere on the
don't
East
want to
Coast.
do see these teams. Like UCF, they may have graduation.
Yeah,
We're
but
running
still,
into
what
things like
I'm getting
Camping
at,
World.
but split it up. Don't have all the same
I
teams
still
in the
think
same
if you did
city.
it at the higher seed, I mean, you do state semifinals. We used to never do state semifinals at the school.
Right.
That was always like basketball, volleyball. It was always at a new. Now they sent it back to the school,
Yeah.
and it's worked. Volleyball, we've hosted state semifinal. We've had to go up to Plant for a state semifinal. So what I don't see the difference. One more step of allowing the fans, because here I'm going to tell you what. You go to a restaurant around here, that game was broadcasted.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now the athletic department, if you're charging $20 and 15% goes, we're losing maybe $15 a person by that, instead of them going up there.
right.
Well, so then let me ask you this: since you're an outgoing AD and you have a free roam
I'm saying,
to say whatever you want,
no, that's. Do I ever say what I want?
Now you can't.
but I will say that I will ask you this: so did we get value? And I say we as any sports high school team, we get value from the state?
I don't know yet because I've not got the financials.
No. I'm just saying, outside the financials, any state or the other ones that didn't get in, that they all kicked in to the FHSAA, are they getting value?
What happens is if you're a school, you're a Mike Lay school, you come in for the region, I have to give you 35% of the game.
Right.
Yes. So everybody will get a cut.
But out of that money that's taken from the programs and goes to the FHSAA,
FHSA 15%. That's on their own.
Do you think that the member schools are getting value from kicking up to?
No.
Thank you.
Listen,
No, not even close.
Wait, I'm telling you.
Thank you.
Are you kidding? I
Remember,
go-
this is outgoing AD.
But you know what it is? It's still, but we're making money.
yes.
And you know that's
right.
that's where I sit as an athletic director.
Right.
I'm looking at financials.
Yeah.
Because a uniform, just the top for a uniform, is $160.
Right.
120 for the pants.
Yeah.
So that's then by law the helmets have to get reconditioned.
Right.
The shoulder pads. So if we can go $50,000 to $60,000 just towards a football program, any
Right.
school can because
Right.
of the
Yeah.
situation we're
Sure.
in.
Yeah.
So we go up to tell if Venice High School releases a check for $1,500, $2,000 for the state championship, I'll be shocked.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
But if we were at home and I paid them a certain amount, they're
They're
15%.
cut.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I sit there and in comes in. All right, Naples Association is going to ref your games.
Right.
Yeah.
They call me. I get a check. I meet them. We buy. I always through every football game at Venice High School, we respect the officials. They get food. They get drinks. They're a police officer assigned to them through the whole game.
Right.
I mean, we're going to do first class. So, what I'm saying is going up there, the travel expense, the few people that go. Do you think those kids really got a thrill out of? I think they get more thrill playing home. And if you worked real hard to get the first seed, then it's fine. I mean, you say neutral field. You didn't do it in the state semifinal.
Right.
So what's a big deal?
And the other thing is too. So I thought this as well. You jammed 9 games into 3 days. You didn't do it before. You made the smaller schools are playing in Tallahassee.
Right.
So you did
split it.
2 and 2 and 2.
That's what I'm talking about.
Which that was better.
But
okay?
they had as soon as the pink pulled out because Ronaldo's
Yeah.
down there for soccer, so it wasn't sitting empty.
Right.
So it's being
They
used.
didn't need it. Yeah.
Orlando's being used. Camping World's being used. So these facilities are being. Maybe it's the time of the year. I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause
graduation.
that's starting the season.
But
Yeah,
your
plus you have
but your
graduation.
idea does ring true to me, because you could even say, okay, like if you wanted to do certain venues, you don't have to have every game in the same spot. What do I care if I'm in the same city
get
as
that.
the
We're-
2S school?
But the bottom line to it,
You could have 4 areas.
But
to
you
do
also,
it.
with the FHSA has a policy that if you're going to host a game, you have to have a certain seating capacity.
Okay.
In the playoffs, so that's in there. We did it once in basketball. They had a small. They moved the venue, and if the team blew us out, they were pissed. So but what I'm saying, I don't think the pomp and circumstance in that state playoff game
was there.
Right.
It would have been more pomp if we were at Lakeland,
We
or if we were at Venice.
we could have been playing in a parking lot for anybody.
And you know
to-
what?
Yeah.
It would have saved the travel, the money,
Yeah.
the officials. I mean, the FHSA want to be there. I see the guys before the game. We thought, hey, good seeing you. Haven't seen you in a while. Hey, I'm going to apply when I retire to come up to the FHSA. Just I may.
And the other part too, all the hoops you got to jump through for them in regards to this paperwork and that
yeah, and
paperwork,
that's-
and they
thank
don't
God
even use it half the time.
I appreciate you helping me.
No, it's
because
not-
I send you stuff and
Well,
and
we're
work
good
together.
at it
Yes.
now. We're good at it. We can
Yes.
figure it out.
No,
but
no
the same
more.
thing
No,
goes
we're not
into it.
good
It's like
anymore.
now it's like you go all this stuff, and then like they don't have a kid's name, or they don't do this, or they
They
didn't
don't
get
do the.
they didn't get the
Did you see a
paperwork.
program?
No.
Years back, they had a program with the
No
team's
program.
pic. Why am I sending you a picture?
Right.
I don't understand. Why am I sending
Where's
you
the logo?
stats?
I have a logo.
Yeah,
and then they don't
They'll use
communicate
it.
with anybody.
No, I'm still a firm believer that other in Jersey, and I hate to bring up Jersey, they go to Giant Stadium. And they have the playoffs in Giant Stadium, and it's a professional stadium. But you go there, it looks like the place is empty.
Right. Yeah.
I just firm believer that
No,
higher seed, that gives you something to work through your football program is, okay, we got to get ranked higher so we can host. That's what we almost did, and we thought we were going to go over to the other coast for
and for the semifinals,
finals, and they lost.
Right.
So we got, and we're excited. You're excited to be home. I think the excitement for the community, for the students, for the school, for the students at the school and the student athletes would be better. Play it at the higher seed on a high school field.
I agree with what you're saying, but
Don't
there's
say-
a snowball's chance in hell not happening.
I get it. I get it's not.
Because-
I get that it's so much, but it may come down to a point. It has to, because there's not enough venues.
But
to
look at what
support.
happens around the country as far as, because it's all roughly the same time. Texas, they're
Yeah.
playing in Jerry's World.
Yep.
Okay,
Right. Georgia's playing
right,
it.
but we're not playing. We're playing in
but,
a venue that was not an exciting venue.
But that's what I'm telling you. That all those venues, you go back to your Jersey scenario. There's not that many people in the stands
No,
for those
there's not.
playoff games.
Yeah, that's why I agree.
So I just think you're fighting an uphill battle with somebody.
It's pomp and circumstance. Like every other, every other state does it. Oh, look what we do for our football. I get what you're saying, but is it the best scenario?
Well, that's a different argument.
But that's what we're supposed to be doing. What is in the best interest of the student athlete? What is in the best interest of the school?
Yes.
Okay.
Even
that's what it
even
is.
financially, dollars and cents, it makes more
That's
sense.
that should be the
Yeah,
first
and that's
and foremost.
what and that's what everybody
Yeah.
As an athletic director, I mean that's what you sit there and say, how am I paying bills?
Yeah.
And you host a state champ, you're excited.
Yeah, until you see
and it.
the bottom line. Like, what?
But you're going to get, like, you think they're charging $20 a person up there, okay?
Oh God.
2,000 people, where $20 a person, and I have 10,000?
Right.
Yeah.
You just did you did all the games in one game.
Here's
Yeah.
All
they
the
don't-
profit.
and they haven't done anything through the whole football season anyway.
Right.
So here's your 15% for the game. Here's my ticket reports. Here's 35% for Lakeland. They'd be happy, and then the rest for us.
So let me ask you this. Follow on to that. Everything you said makes sound financial sense. Makes sense as far as for the reasons that you said. What's the possibility of it happening?
Somebody's got to push.
But
But
But is there more than just? Is it more than just you?
I think that I think there's other people out there. I said I was at the compliance meeting, and every AD in the state, when I stood up and said this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. Guys agreed, and it's just pomp and circumstance. It's a show. It's the circus.
The reason I say is because you was talking to you before you came on about what's going on with the playoff system next year. It seems like these guys are busy just to make themselves look busy instead of actually affecting real.
But you're getting directors that were appointed by the governor, who are now coming up with this. Craig Damon will say, he said, Pete, we're not doing this 32 team. I'm going to push for 8 teams.
Yeah,
for the super conference.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And still a lot of guys like if we went into the Super 8 and we knew we could be, if they did 32 teams. You want to be 33 because you get
that's what I said. Nobody wants to be 32.
No. And so
nobody wants to be 32.
And so now you got a chance to opt out for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But there's people who are not. It's I hate to say it, but when you look at our school board, how many of them have a teaching certificate?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So you're running a program, and I'm not putting down our school board. I think they do a fabulous job. I do. But I'm just saying, I would like to run for school, but. But so you're having.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're having guys who are not athletically can connect, making decisions.
Right.
Athletic, and it's not a good thing. The governor did that, and I get it because it was just they need to bring Dr. Deering back. This is like the old West right now, and I don't want to get into that, but it
does help to have the people with a little bit of a background.
Yeah, I mean they're not the you sit there and you've got to make a budget, and if you've never been a principal and they throw you in a principal, how do you make a budget and how do you know where your school?
Yeah.
You need people who are ex-athletic directors, coaches, people who are in the pits. Once you get away from the pits, you have no clue what's going on.
Right.
You don't have what's going on.
Yeah, they just roll up and say, oh my God, look at this. They put on a good game tonight.
Florida's known for.
Here's my PowerPoint presentation. I've never seen a football, but I can tell you how to run a game.
Yeah.
Well, boom.
And Florida's known for its football.
I threw a party once.
No matter what you say, high school, college, Pop Warner, Florida is proud of their football. So I get it. Let's throw this stadium.
Yeah.
It's failing right now. It's not working.
Right.
What is the next thing to do? I mean, you can crown that. I talk. Listen, you're supposed to stay afterwards as a runner-up and get your medals. Listen, guys. My guys worked hard to get to a state championship. When we were at Pink Park, they're like, Pete, bring them out of the locker room. I said, I'm not bringing them out of the locker room.
Right.
I'm not doing that. And knowing those guys said, listen, give me the medals. We'll give them to them at the
banquet.
At the awards banquet. The same this year. I said, guys, I'm not going. Those guys, they left. We'll take the trophy. Mm-hmm. We'll make sure Wheatley doesn't get it. Doesn't end up in the Swanee River. I didn't say that, Brian.
Wow.
But that's what they worry about. But
yes.
I said that those kids played hard, and you want them to stand there and take a stand, and the other team's like whooping it up, and there's five. That's not.
Yeah, it's not.
That's not. And
the sportsmanship gets through the handshake line. After that, it's a celebration.
Yeah, and it was good. They let I don't know if any other school gets to do that. They usually they let Venice. Okay, you can give them out at your banquet, which is nice because now the emotions.
That makes sense. So it shouldn't be a big deal to do that. Like
so that's why I don't understand why we couldn't play a state championship at Venice High School or at Lakeland, or wherever the number 1 seed is.
Right, I agree.
I mean, it's just more fans. Nobody's driving 5.5 hours.
No.
If I didn't have to.
Yeah.
You think about it. You want to go support those kids.
Yeah.
8:00 at night. Most of our fans are, elderly. I mean, we have a great support of retired people in our community. Drive. We weren't a fan, but drive 5.5 hours up there. So I left my house at 10 in the morning to go to school. I got home on Sunday at 6 in the morning.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a long way that's what it would have been on for the kids. Well,
yes, the kids coming back.
Coming back. They were
coming
getting
back, and
in the morning.
that's just
it's too much.
And
Sounds like one of your normal Saturday nights.
Yeah, doesn't it?
With that, we'll take our first break of the night. So when we come back here by the way, at Douglas Jeep, as you can tell, things are getting done around here. Nice cars. Pete Dombrowski looking to looking at the Charger over here.
Look out, folks. He's got a fast car.
I got a knucklehead next to me, but did we really give you a diploma? Because I'm checking the records. So no way.
He got it.
We gave you a diploma.
He got it.
Oh, back then everybody
I was
got
president
one.
of the school board.
Oh.
President of the school. I was a school board.
He's a
I
counselor.
don't even know what he is.
I know.
I'm going to miss you
So
next year, though.
we will come back here, Douglas Jeep, and we'll do maybe another conversation that might go on for a little bit of a while, but we'll talk a little about FSU's snub from the college football playoff. With that, thank you for joining us. Be right back, Douglas Jeep, and also don't forget Truly Nolan. What's bugging me a little bit right after this. We'll be back. See you.
What does Douglas Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and Venice High football have in common?
The perfect team and the perfect lineup.
Douglas Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram will always go the extra yard, so you can score big with the area's best selection and savings. So if you're looking for a championship vehicle lineup
And a dealership that tackles the competition.
visit Douglas Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, in Venice,
And if you're looking for a championship football lineup, check out the Venice High football team.
who supports Venice High football. Douglas does.
Back here at Douglas Jeep in the 941 Sports Zone, following that a pretty good conversation regarding the whole FHSA structure of their state playoffs and how we can maybe improve on it.
I'm sure I'll get an email tomorrow.
Now we have a conversation
Thanks,
we're going to
Easy.
get into where we're talking about another organization
Yes.
making choices, making picks for different for much bigger stakes. Let's say big money, no doubt about it. And the conversation is FSU not getting into the Final Four for the NCAA College Football Championship playoffs. You and I, Mike, we talked about this before. Mike's just full disclosure. Mike's a big FSU guy, and you said to me, "Hey, I know why.
Yeah.
Doesn't make me happy. I know why. You know, we didn't look good at the end because Jordan Travis wasn't necessarily going to come back to play after that severely broken ankle or whatever."
But how do you base a pick on one person?
Because
I know
it's whether people like it or not, the product that was displayed, that put out, it bared out that that's not the same team.
But when you have a program, not a
you're
when
right.
you have a program, you better have. They do have backup.
But I think I can do it.
Alabama went in there. They had to put another backup.
Oh wait, but you're talking the difference between the second to last game versus the second or third game.
I felt bad for Mike.
Could you imagine if Jalen Milroe went down in Auburn and they're having the same conversation? There's no way. I mean, they looked that bad against USF.
Right. Yeah, they did.
So what I would tell you is it's the messaging, and one of our other friends we were talking, I really did pick up on that whole week prior to the selection, that this was going to go down.
Yeah,
right.
They didn't look.
They were standing up flares to say.
Yeah,
they
and
didn't look.
This
I
might
get
happen.
they didn't look explosive. But
I'm saying even with the ACC championship game, after that, when it like the third quarter and whatever the score was at that point in time, it was the decision was already made. I don't care what they said. They waited till the next morning to go back and look it over. No, what I will tell you, it's the messaging. I thought is the problem. Is that all of a sudden they're pulling out some stuff in the paperwork about injury to a teammate, stuff like that. The messaging should have been there as far as how we determine the teams.
Well, it's a committee.
Going
it's a committee's
up to it.
decision instead of basing it on.
Well, but instead of like the group Power Five or group whatever you want to call them, that you go in for you win your conference, you're in.
Right.
And if you ask any sports fan that follows college football, that's the thing that they hear. And I understand what you're saying. It's not one person makes a team, it's a program. But in what they were conditioned for so long is if you won your conference championship, you were going to get in. Now, it also just happens this is the last year this was going to happen.
Right.
And
but that doesn't change anything.
It doesn't. But it makes it easier for them to break it off and say that's
so I'm going to say real quick. There's flaws to the whole thing.
Yeah.
First of all,
any playoff scenario where you got that.
Well, the first flaw is this: when you have 4 teams to get in and 5 conferences.
Yes.
Someone's always getting left out. Pac-12 was the guy getting left out all the time.
And by the way, the Pac-12 at the beginning of the season was talked as they were the worst conference.
Trash.
Right, yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody's leaving. It's no good. Crappy
Because
conference.
they're all out. They don't
Right.
want to be.
Right.
So you look at that for sure. Then the other part of it is this: the idea that they put together this committee with Condoleezza Rice and all these sort of dignitaries and
Where'd she
ex-people.
coach football?
At University
Iris
of
Mike
Augusta.
Lay. There you go.
But the idea,
okay.
so what ends up happening is this: they say, okay, so this committee is going to pick the top 4 teams. So the idea was like, oh, we're going to settle on the field. No, it's still a beauty contest.
Politics.
It's still opinions. So the idea to think that you're guaranteed anything is fool's gold. And so in this particular case, Florida State, I'll argue
one
this.
thing it did do, it put Florida State in the paper. It gave them a lot of ink, a lot of exposure, which is a great recruiting tool. Mike Norvell has done a great job.
We've had conversations. Yes and no, because
It's better if you go there and win it all.
Yeah,
I get that.
Anybody coach can say, "Hey, look,
But-
you're not in a good conference
But
if you would have
look at the
conference."
kids from Florida, I mean, if I can go to Rutgers, when they were able to take out-of-state kids, 50% of their team were Florida ball players. Florida has it, and the same. So it looks good for Florida State over USF, over Miami, over Florida. So I think it's going to open a door to help a little bit of recruiting.
I would say yes if the genie that's out of the box right now, which we were going to get to, I guess, football is changed. The NIL portal,
Yep.
it doesn't matter.
Look how many kids were on that Florida State from the portal.
It
that
well,
really helped
just not just them. Look across the. I mean, you go across. Teams are getting ready for the playoffs. They have people
Kids
going
like-
in the portal.
But there's not commitment anymore.
Well, that's
the
the thing.
problem. Where there is not once you go there, and it's all about money. Like you said, it's about likeness. It's about money. It's everything has changed. You're right.
And I will say one thing about the Florida State thing as well. So the argument is Alabama getting in. That seems to be like, how did they get in?
Right.
Okay, so Alabama winning dragged Texas with them.
It had to push Texas.
All
in.
right. But the thing is this, so let's leave Alabama and Texas out of the argument. My argument, if I'm FSU guy, is Michigan and Washington. Okay, Washington, Pac-12 was better, no doubt about it. They beat Oregon twice. Okay,
right.
but again, I get that. But so why is that more impressive than something that Florida State did? I don't know. And then the other thing is this. Michigan, and I should have the numbers in front of me, but I know this was a fact. I think they played 6 teams that their offenses were ranked like in the 100s as far as offense is concerned. Michigan, other than Ohio State, looking at their schedule, really played nobody. And everybody's mentioned that at the beginning of the year. Oh, Michigan's they're gonna walk to the game at Ohio State, and they made a big deal. They cried when they beat Penn State, who is an average team at best.
Yes.
Okay. And so my argument wouldn't be so much about Alabama. If you're setting aside the SEC and saying they're clearly the best conference, and guess what? If whoever wins that conference is going to get in, unless they're a 2 or 3 loss team that beats an undefeated team or something along those lines. The argument is, why Michigan? Tell me why. It's compared to Florida State. Tell me why Washington, comparably speaking. I would love to have seen, let's say Florida State did get in there, Florida State-Michigan game. That would have been a very interesting game for me to watch. And same thing as well against Washington. That would have been an interesting game as well.
I'll tell you, the quick answer, I believe, is why Michigan is because the ratings that Michigan, Ohio State do.
It's a beauty contest.
So high compared to the others.
If you go back years ago, they didn't even have a playoff for college. Remember, they would argue, you're number one. They would just rank a team number one without a playoff. At least we have a playoff now.
Well, that was more like for papers and to drive.
Yes. But people said you got to do it on the field.
Alabama beginning this wasn't their biggest one ever. I think they were 9-1-1 one year, and they were better than an undefeated Penn State team, if I believe not. So this goes back to like, how does this all happen? How did this team?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to seeing Florida State and Georgia play.
I'm not.
Listen, we were like both those coaches down at school. They are some nice guys.
All right, so
guys,
since we're gonna this game is not the same as what it would have been if you just went the week after the ACC championship, SEC championship game, and everything was static, nothing changed. However, they're both out of the playoffs.
Right.
They have people that are opting out to get ready for the draft.
Yeah,
they have
you're right.
people
You're
hitting
right.
the
Since it's not.
And that's the problem is that people are going to see this and they're going to say, yeah, but just beat Georgia or just beat Florida State can like just whitewash them and you'll make a case for being in the playoffs. It's not the same because it's not the same teams.
Right.
You know, and that's where
Well, do we know who's sitting out?
Well, Benson left, right?
Well, Benson left. Johnny Wilson's already gone. Coleman is any day now. Verse declared today.
Right.
Jaron Jones is going. There's a whole, and I don't understand why they're doing this drip by drip by drip.
I don't either.
It's to me is more coordinated, and I'm not sure if it's a way to make some kind of protest point,
or it's either a way to get your moment in the spotlight. To
Well,
say, you get your encore,
It's your
bow.
turn.
Yeah,
Your turn
to
to
come
say-
out.
yeah.
And behind the curtain now,
Or
is
they
this.
put a point where you can't declare, like with baseball, you can't declare free agency until after the World Series.
Well,
There should be a point like after the national championship.
he's the perfect person for this because from the FHSAA, why in the hell did the NCAA allow early signing day is tomorrow?
Yes.
Transfer portal, 30 days. The season just ended. I almost dropped an F-bomb. The season just ended. You have people transferring or hitting the portal, and then you have the bowl game, and then you go to regular recruiting in February.
Right.
And then you have spring games, and at the end of spring, you have another portal.
Yeah.
Who the hell came up with this freaking schedule?
I
Somebody-
honestly believe that this was put together to just. I think somebody wanted to blow up the system.
I totally agree
This is
with
total
you.
sabotage, and I think it's the NCAA.
But you get these people
I
who
do
are
too.
commissioners in the NCAA that just work their way up. I
So-
mean, how many of them were athletic directors or coaches?
Right.
Oh,
Okay, and there's my
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
They're not thinking the best interest of. I mean, I think this is just it. If your school gets those portals,
Yeah.
you're happy with it.
Yeah.
If you lose them, you think it stinks.
but the
Right.
thing is, it's happened to everybody.
I know, and for whatever reason, I don't.
Oh, you
remember
know
you used to have to sit out. If you went from a Division I down to a Division II, you could play
could
right
go right away. Yeah.
But if you went Division I, Division II, you had to sit out a year.
Yeah.
So it's got to be.
Well,
one.
and that's
It's-
changed too. So you get now they're talking about you get the one free. Now they're supposed to be going to have 2 free transfers.
Well, see, here's what I think. This is what I think.
But it's
happened.
money.
Here's
The
what.
bottom
Here's,
line is money.
here's what I
Yeah.
think is going to happen. The NCAA is scared to death of litigation. They don't want to go to court. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think what they did was they said, well, we already had a little posse of guys at Northwestern who wanted to unionize.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens when that happens, and what other things we're going to lose in court? I think they thought it up and said, look, you know what? Let's create chaos. So now
totally
they
agree
all
with you.
come running to us. Fix this. It's
Yeah.
not fair. It's not good. Okay. What are we going to do? Well, here's what we can do. We have billions and billions of dollars. The schools have showed their hand. Texas A&M, we got $99 million to get rid of the coach, you know?
Right.
And you have all this different stuff that they're going to do. And so everybody's hand's been exposed. And you can say, okay, guys, since all this money's out there and we have all this money as well, we are now going to pay the players. And when they come, that scholarship they signed for isn't a scholarship. It's a contract.
All right.
Okay. And then that contract's going to say, you are a 3-star. So as a 3-star, just like in the draft, you're
Yeah.
slotted to get $32,000 next year. But when you sign on the dotted line, you ain't going anywhere for 3 years.
Right.
The portal's available to you after 3 years. You're not running away from us. This is a contract. You signed a contract.
Yeah.
So now the portal is still there, but you sign a contract. You're a semi-pro professional football player at that point. And if you go to school or you don't go to school, there could be some sort of stipulations put into that in some ways. But the money coming in is what's funding all the labs and and everything else going on.
Well,
in the
you
school.
say that, but look at what they're paying the head coaches. This is the stadiums they're building. I mean, the money's coming in
Right.
athletic wise, and it's a lot. And I agree. I mean, if you ever got a scholarship, Mickey Mouse, but $100,000 scholarship
Yes.
from what they're getting, and you're getting no money. I mean, the guys are turning on the automatic sprinkler, they're getting a couple dollars, or
Right.
Right.
or you're getting boosters giving them. So this gives them. There's a lot of money going in that they're getting hurt. They're
Right.
They give them a piece of the pie. I get
But
it.
what happens then is then you say that's your contract. But guess what you can do? You're a 3-star. Let's say you're a freshman All-American. You kill it. Go talk to the car dealer. Go to Douglas Jeep and see maybe they'll give you something.
Well,
Go
that's
talk to
going to
the
happen in
restaurant.
high school.
So you can still make money
Next year.
You
next
can,
year.
That's what we
next
talked about
year.
earlier.
you can still make money, more money, but the contract with the university is going to be this. You're here for 3 years and make the best of it.
Yeah, make a
your
commitment.
name. And if after 3 years, you can go to the pros, or if you don't like what's going on at our school because our coach quit 2 years into your tenure, then you can go after the 3rd year, you're out of here. But so now there'll be a contract. They won't be unionized. The conferences will be the conference structure, I think, will become the union. The conference structure will be the people who keep it all in line. And the NCAA sits back and says, we're the good guy now. We're not the dumb bad guy.
Yeah, but I think that the only crack in that plan, I think, is that there's so many institutions that hate the NCAA.
Sure.
That they
Because
just
of
want to get
fines.
rid of. And that goes kind of what we were talking about earlier this year about the super conference or super conferences. I mean, don't give me this crap that the 20-team football conference and it's stuffed with freaking upper level teams is a good idea.
No.
You're trying to create
Stupid.
you're trying to create something that you get more of your guys into the playoffs, which that's obvious. But I don't know between, let's say right now, the Big Ten, SEC, they're going to be the dominant players who probably get the most people into the playoffs. I can foresee where they end up forming some kind of like what you're saying.
Sure.
And they become, in effect, the NCAA or whatever you want to
Someone-
call it. And
someone
those kind of
will
rules.
govern it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the funny part about it is you're going to have 12 teams in the playoffs next year. So are we going to argue about 13?
Yeah, well, no, we're not.
No, but I'm saying, I'm telling you this, that if you're going to start arguing about who is the 13th best team in the country, you really, I mean, and I grant you anything can happen kind of scenario, but it's going to, that's going to be relegated to the argument about the final 4 teams getting into the basketball championship.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, I think if you didn't get it in, because you didn't win it's still, even at the 12-13 thing, it's still a beauty contest.
Yes.
And even with, I heard Chip Kelly had ideas similar to the NFL.
Right.
You play in a region, you kind of figure out the scheduling ahead of time. It's not your choice to schedule. We schedule for you now.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to work. But even with that, with all the schools, because there's so many schools, it's always going to be a beauty contest. There's always going to be a guess or an opinion put out there, unless you have even with the most ironclad situation, they were the hottest or they could have been the best. It's always going to be that way no matter what happens. But I think that the portal side of it and the money side of it, go get your money. You're going to get paid by us. And now you're signing a contract. That's going to be a big deal.
Stay to 3 years. And,
Unfortunately, I think the playoff system, it's always been the saying is, why can't college football have a playoff system? And because
they
the bowl
always
tie-ins.
said, they
But
could.
the FCS,
They could go like,
but Division II, they were doing it.
Yeah.
but
everybody was.
If they did like the NFL, have a play, just the season will go longer.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
FCS is done before.
Yeah. So go a little longer.
Right.
It's going to make a little more money, more exposed. People love watching college football. So you just you won your, like you said, you won your division. They won this stuff. Let's move. You play off
only
and just
2
keep going.
teams plays 15 games or whatever
Yeah.
it turns out to be. Not everybody's doing it. The majority of the schools play their season out, go to a bowl game. Maybe they're at 12 or 13 games. The rest of them playing a little bit more. Listen, if you said, hey, I'm worried about the high school kids playing 15 games. They said, listen, guys, we're not going to go to the state championship because we don't want you. It's too exhausting for you and got to worry about school. The parents first.
Oh, my God.
The kids second. We looking at you like, no, Mr. Dombrowski, we're going and we're going to tie you up and gag you until you let us go.
That's been said to me.
Oh, yeah.
Not everybody.
Not an athletic venue.
Not everybody agrees with me.
So let's go from that conversation to another even more controversial conversation after this break. We'll talk a little bit Live Golf a little bit to see how that goes. And then we'll also talk about a big contract that was signed about a week ago as well. With that, we'll take our second break of the night and come back and talk about Live Golf and Mr. John Rahm after these messages. Be right back. He's not here. I can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm starting to get like him. All right, you guys, you ready?
Ready? Yeah, ready. Let's go for it.
And 5, 4,
And we're back here at Douglas Jeep and the 941 Sports Zone. And again, this will be the last time you see us probably in this venue, where we will be at the new used car lot just down the road from here.
Make sure you call Larry Shannon to do this.
Yes. He'll be. He was in here. He was in here once already. So I
told him. I
think he
blocked his number on my phone. That number is blocked.
The highest rated athletic director that's ever done this show.
Larry Shannon.
Shots fired.
So anyway, Douglas Jeep will be a new venue. Watch us there. And of course, thank you to Truly Nolan for our upcoming What's Bugging Me segment. And with that, Live Golf, it's nothing settled. December 31st is the deadline in order to have an agreement in place between the PGA Tour and the PIF, as they call it, which is the Live Golf the money backers from the Saudi Arabian oil wealthy people.
Who do you think wins?
Yeah, it's hard
Money always wins.
I know,
yeah,
right?
money always wins. But I will say
Yeah.
this, but the big thing now is I really believe that once the players kind of took back some power a few months ago, they're negotiating with people who have money too. And so if that's the case, it'll be a battle to see who goes where, and it's going to be a matter of if anybody's really interested in watching guys in shorts play 54 holes.
I just can't get into it. I watch it and I'm like, what am I watching?
It's
in shorts.
doesn't
It's
seem
a little lax. It's not as professional as
that's
the
what I was saying.
PGA.
It doesn't seem professional.
It's like watching amateur golf.
Yep.
Just the graphics and the people who are doing it. Now, David Faraday is a good guy, whatever, but they turned it into a clown show.
Yeah.
And so it looks stupid, and it really it doesn't look like. I mean, I get it. Somebody looks excited, but they don't. There's not the roars. There's not the other things.
Well,
going
they're not
on
getting
with
the
it.
crowds when you. I mean, they're playing all over. I mean, when you play in the United States, they follow. They're there. You get the crowds. You get.
And you have
people
tradition behind some of these
coming.
tournaments.
Yeah.
And by the way, and not the same caliber of golf. Don't get me wrong. But ever watch a Corn Ferry tournament
No.
or whatever?
Yeah,
The low.
more of a
There's
Hooters-
not a lot of
Hooters
people
sport.
there, and they're playing in Boise or they're playing in Tacoma or whatever playing.
Yeah.
Nice golf courses, but and somebody just gets a hole in one and like 9 people cheer for them. It doesn't.
Well,
have the
they're
same
not
event.
attracting the names. Now, if they grab the Tiger,
Well, I think.
Yeah,
it's,
but that's the tour that they're trying to get.
and everybody who's gone there has some. The money's the reason for alternate reasons. Okay, Ron being the one I haven't really quite figured out. I think he's more of a global guy, which makes him his brand. I think he went there because his brand is going to be more sellable outside the United States of America. I mean, you never know
What's he going to sell, though? I mean,
who knows?
That's the
Wine,
crazy-
sangria.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's something along those lines that somebody said. This is we want you this. So the $300 million or whatever he got given the money guaranteed. That money was already in his. Here he was going to make that money next year. It's that money combined with the money he was going to make. He's not making $300 million. He's making $1 billion when it's all said and done because he has the guaranteed money. So now if he has a bad week or two or he's not really feeling it,
yeah.
it is.
This is what I watch, and I'm going to have to say with baseball. I've seen guys who are on the year of free agency, and they crush.
Right.
They're
Oh,
hitting
yeah.
300.
Yeah.
And then they sign these big contracts, and the next year they're batting 240. The numbers are down. I don't see the. I've seen guys in the pros who work hard to get there.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're getting $300 million. What's your incentive to roll out of bed and put that time? Because
You've
there's
already said
there's a lot of time you've got to put in. I mean, there's
Yeah.
self-esteem. I guess to say,
And you only have so much time
Yes.
to do it in.
and you're so many years. I mean, I know,
Yeah.
a guy like I said, Joey Votto signed a big. I knew Joey. He worked out at the school. I saw a guy work real hard, but most of these guys roll out of bed. And what's your incentive to go
Well,
and
that's the
hit
thing.
extra?
With the
and-
drive,
You worked
can't
hard.
have the same
No,
drive.
well,
right?
you worked hard to get to that plateau.
Right.
Now you're there, and you're like, well, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Are you gonna take that
It
extra?
doesn't hurt to fail.
Are you taking that extra BP? And I'm not saying every guy, but that's the whole
Happens a
big
lot. You
thing.
see it a
with
lot.
And so, how much time he spent on the course? I mean, those guys. They spend a lot of time on their swing.
Here's the other part of it, Pete. You're right. So the time spent, you lose your energy, you lose your will a little bit. But the other part is this. So when Liv signed these guys, said you're gonna only have to do 12 tournaments a year.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? There's still 4 more that you play if you want to get in the majors, which you're
Right.
all fighting over. They'll put you at 16. Now Liv went to 14 tournaments. Now they're at 18. These guys that went from Liv from the PGA to Liv are playing more golf than they were on the PGA Tour because they didn't have to be at every venue because they just had so many of them that they could fill in
Well,
where
they
they
had to
want to
play
fill
so
in
many,
or
yeah.
whatever it may be.
Yes.
And on top of that, you're not going from Chicago, Illinois to Bloomington, Indiana to Teaneck, New Jersey. Okay, you're going from Thailand to Bimini to somewhere in Germany, and the travel alone is going to be crazy.
But
you don't have a home.
Still got to be. If you hit the lottery for $5 million, are you going to get up and go to work tomorrow? Seriously?
No,
you're not.
No,
you're not.
That's
I will.
the point.
Not even if I get $500.
But that's the point.
But there's got
Breakfast in bed. I'm not going to work.
I'm not gonna make it tomorrow.
No, I'm going to Arby's for their breakfast sandwich. But that's if they work to get with from when they were an amateur in high school to college to earning their PGA card. Now they finally got the gold ring.
Right.
And so
What sucks about though is everything's based around money, and I know that's an obvious statement, but it's what happened to the love of the game. I want to prove myself.
That was a movie. That's the last time.
But I think there was people.
But there's still people. Derek.
Yeah.
I think Derek Jeter's the type of guy. Tom Brady.
I think Tiger is a guy that he is still trying for
listen,
the. And I know he listen. Obviously, he's made so much money, but I do think if he.
But he's got to keep that. You understand? When they get to that point, there's a lifestyle.
Yeah, well,
that's where a lot of guys go broke.
When you become a brand,
because there's players who they get that money, they live that lifestyle. All of a sudden, the career's over, and that check's not, and now they're hurting.
Yeah,
and so you want to live. I mean, people want part of Tiger. Now he's smart because his son's coming up.
Yeah.
So now he markets his son into the TW.
It's done.
Yeah.
And so he can keep. Yeah, he is.
Kid's ripping 300-some yard drives.
I know.
Isn't that what you hit?
No,
I played with you.
I'm 3 wood off the tee.
I played with
185.
Man, when I
Real
played with
smooth.
Playing it for the fairways. So you mentioned Tom Brady, and I'll say that now. There's some similar characteristics to what Tom Brady did to what Shohei Ohtani is going to do with the Angels. $700 million contract, 10 years. But he deferred his money till 2035, I think it is.
Well, good move.
For 10
Well,
years.
he didn't. His agent did.
Well,
He's got a
they-
really
they-
good
but
agent.
think about how smart this
Bobby
is.
Bonilla helped on that.
Oh, he did. And
1.2
Scott
million.
Boras
Yeah,
was
it's Bobby Bonilla Day.
Scott
It's-
Boras was the agent,
Yeah.
and this guy knows what it's Bobby Bonilla Day, and the Mets are paying
Yeah.
it.
So-
but where did he do after he got that contract?
Hey, but Bobby, listen,
Okay.
he had some injuries. I mean,
And
Bobby's
listen, you're going to pitch.
Bobby's
and
a
you-
customer
wait.
in Sarasota. He's an awesome guy.
I bet he's an awesome guy, but Shawnee's going to go on the mound.
Yeah.
You want to try to play the field. It's going to take a toll on your body.
He can only pitch so many years, though.
I think
I
he's
get
going to
it.
become a reliever at some point in
Yeah,
time.
yes,
Because you
accurately.
pull him
Well,
off,
no,
pull him off of
and
first
it's tough,
base
though.
and
It's
go
Right.
throw.
It's
And
tough to go from a starter to a reliever. It's not an easy thing.
no, but I think if you give him a
But
year,
I think-
Eckersley did it. He was a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
yeah.
That was Eckersley.
That's it.
But it's
That's all I got.
Frank Tanana. But
So-
so then you're hitting, you're
Right.
on the base, you're running the bases. I mean, that $700 million. There's a reason he's getting it.
Yeah.
Because Dodger Stadium
he's two
going
players.
to get the
Yeah.
when you travel. Everybody wants to see
But
him.
he's not going to be two players for
No,
the
not for a
length of
long time, right.
But he is the show right now.
But you think
people
about it.
want to see him.
Well, the Asian
money,
market
but
is-
from what I understand, I don't know all the financials on it, but the team benefits by doing this as well. Not just from the fact that they can go get players, because that's what Tom Brady
But
did.
they're going to sell his jersey. If
Oh,
you buy
his
his
brand-
jersey, doesn't go to him.
His brand
it
is
goes
worldwide.
To,
He's
yeah.
a
Well,
most
that's what I'm
popular.
saying.
It goes to Major League Baseball. It goes to the team. It doesn't go to the player.
So he makes
No, those
he
promos,
makes
that's- yeah,
he'll
I-
make
I-
this year in endorsements alone $45 million.
Oh,
So the
yeah.
$2 million he gets from the Dodgers is chump change at this
Right.
point. But he'll have all this guaranteed money in 2035. They can go out and get players now. And so now the Dodgers can be a very, very good team. Tom Brady did it because Giselle was making $50 million a year. So the
Right.
family income.
And he's paying her $100
Well,
million.
you know what?
Child support.
She did, that whatever their arrangement was worked out pretty well for a long time for both of them. But the idea is that now Ohtani's got this money coming through. His brand in the California market, especially LA with
But
the
I don't
Asian
think it's
market
just
there.
the California market. I think people
Japan.
are going to
Yeah.
want to go see him play.
Absolutely.
They want to go see. He's a phenomenon.
Right.
You never see. The last guy
Who's
to
the
do
other,
this was
there's
Babe
another guy
Ruth.
coming. I can't.
Yeah, but he's got another year or two before he can come over or something like that.
And it's all like soccer rights where
Yeah.
They own you. Just to get the rights to that guy, it's like $60 or $70 million.
But you know who's going to pay it? Us. I mean, when I was a kid, you went to a Yankee game, it was $4 for a box seat.
Yeah, no, it's not.
You can't even get in the bleachers for $4.
No. Well, that's how old you are.
I mean, if I had Easy's money, I wouldn't worry. I'd be having suites and everywhere,
2-cent Cokes.
Yeah.
10.
Did you get your shoe shine there too?
But that's who's going to end up paying. It's going to be. It's same with basketball. I mean, you want to sit in good seats. I mean, you get nosebleed.
Oh,
yeah, but don't forget basketball.
$65. But I'm just saying,
yeah.
it's the people who can afford it. Sit behind a dugout, or sit behind a bench. Get the box seats.
Right.
I mean, if you go to the Rays games and look at what the cost of these boxes, it's like crazy.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's a good time, those boxes though.
No
wonder it costs so much.
But it does. Well, you have to furnish all that. But it's the fan that ends up paying. The fan who buys the brand. The fan who buys the ticket. Whoever buys what he's selling. It's us that pays the salary.
Yeah. Yep, no doubt.
If
Again,
the fans just shut down and said we're not doing it anymore, they're not going to send out numbers. Like that's $700 million. When I was a kid, Bobby Mercer signed with the Yankees for $100,000.
Right.
They said that was Mickey Mantle. I remember $100,000. That means you were a superstar.
Sure.
$100,000.
Yeah.
But imagine what Mickey Mantle.
But you know what's going to end up happening though is, and it has already started creeping in, and you're going to start seeing some bankruptcies from some of the carriers that have purchased the broadcast rights. Bally Sports.
Yeah, they had to readjust. So to speak.
And there's going to be a tipping point at some point in time.
Well, what they're going to do is start streaming like Thursday Night Football.
Pay-per-view.
You got to go to Amazon.
Right.
You're going to have to go buy it.
Which is pay-per-view.
Right.
It's not
the Yankees have the Yes Channel. You want the Yes Channel on Infinity? It costs you extra money.
Right.
So they're going. There's people want to watch because it's cheaper to watch and buy the MLB package or the NFL package than it is to go to the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's you're tapping into a whole other source of revenue.
But
you
the
didn't even have
restaurants.
before.
You go to a restaurant now. I mean, go somewhere that has 15 teams. You get every game. They have it listed what game is on there, and that's what people are going to do.
When's the last time you went to a Bucks game?
Probably about 5 years. If I get free tickets.
Because it's so hot.
So what kind of hot?
It's hot.
No, you said something. What kind of hot?
It's hot.
I hope your mom's watching right now because I sit next to her in church. I sit next to your mom in church. I'm telling her.
If you're on the east side.
No, you sit next to the promenade, so when they open the door, you feel a little bit. I did that because the seats are plastic.
It's hot.
Why is the Bucks playing at 1 p.m?
It's torture.
It is. Why not play at 4?
Listen, you got to just either be absolutely annihilated or just that much of a fan. I know going to Florida games in September. Please let it be at night, we were. Was that night? Yay! Everybody's clapping, we're texting each other.
You're still hot as hell, but at least you're not baking in the sun.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So we're going to do this. We're not going to take a break. Let's go right to what's bugging me, so we can go ahead and do that, and that way we can get these guys get to go home tonight to see their kids. You want to start, Mike? I'll go this way to you. If anything that's bugging you, or you want to?
Yeah, his Rogain's not working. That's just bugging.
Sending it back. Sending it back 3/4 years.
We gave up that battle a long time ago. No, what's bugging me is Christmas, and I'm not being a bah humbug. That I'm running out of time to buy presents.
Give everybody a bottle of water. Get a bowl and put the water.
I don't think that I haven't thought about that for you. It's a yellow bottle of water.
I was going to say an empty bottle.
No, it's a yellow bottle of water. It's not lemonade. But it's just this time of the season. Your Christmas on a Monday, so it's crazy trying to get the presents.
But it's not about presents. Christmas is not about presents. Christmas is giving care and giving respect to your fellow man. Just enjoy it.
Wait a minute. You need to still go back to church. Christmas is a different. All right, he's bugging me. That's what's bugging me. That's what's bugging me.
No, I know what you're saying because right now I was like, I've got like 3 more gifts, and I don't
That's
know
what
what to get for
Amazon
them.
is for.
Well,
They don't deliver until past Christmas now.
Oh, no, I got mine
Yeah.
before. Just I had 4 boxes when I get home. My neighbor goes, "You give the guy a break." I haven't stepped in a store yet.
Well, yeah.
No, I just go online and boom. I'm not even cooking. I'm going online. I'm going to order food from the
gift
restaurant.
cards are always an easy fallback, unless it's for your wife.
Well, I'm not married, so
yeah, it's for me.
you're
Either,
not,
so
we're okay.
We're a little easier.
Yeah.
I don't have a girlfgirlriend yet.
I know. That's why we saw
If
those,
I did, I'd be in this-
those life-size dolls showing up at your house. I mean, you're supposed to.
No, I don't
Is
want
this-
you. I wouldn't take your collection. Trust me. I'm good. Man, this show's going south. I told you.
No, I'm good.
I hope his mom's
That's why I didn't go
watching.
to. That's why I didn't go to commercial break.
I'll say, listen, for my ex-wife, I'm still paying off my K jewelry. So I just want to let you know.
Wait, which one?
Oh,
So
I can't believe you're still married, though. That's what gets me.
Listen,
I'm sure you slept on the couch quite a bit.
couch.
I'm in the house.
Yeah.
All right, so Christmas shopping is bugging.
Yes. I thought we were on to him.
No, we are into him now.
It turned into the Pete Dombrowski road.
He actually got a lot out because the FHSA was obviously bugging him.
Yes.
But what else is bugging you?
You know what? Nothing's going to bug me because I'm looking forward to Christmas.
Okay.
I'm looking for the last year as athletic director to have a good year, to finish off strong with basketball, track. And just nothing's going to bug me. It's a good time of year. Walk around, see the lights. I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm not going to get phone calls from Brian Wheatley at 10 o'clock at night. I'm not going to get accusations from the FHSA. None of that. I don't have to say, "Hey, easy, can you do parking?" No, I'm going out of town.
I can't find my
You know,
car.
it's okay. I wouldn't mind if he called me on Monday. This guy calls on Friday at 3 o'clock when we have a game saying, "I'm not going to be there." You do. Don't tell me you don't.
You know what? I changed my mind. You know what's bugging me is athletic directors that lie. You know what? Because he is going to be back. Because he
No,
says
he's
this for
not.
20 freaking years that this is last year, easy. I ain't coming back. They can have this shit. I ain't coming back.
This is it, baby. I'm done. Hey, listen, if Brett Favre and Tom Brady and those and Michael Jordan can say they're not coming. No, I'm
You know
not.
what the difference is?
They make more money than I do.
No, what's gonna happen? It'll be day one of school, and Larry Shan's gonna walk in with his box of stuff for his desk. He's gonna close the door, and Pete's gonna be standing behind.
Surprise.
I'm here.
Listen, I've been blessed. It's been a great ride. I mean, I never expected the turnouts that turned out at Venice High the way it did. It's
Well,
just
you
been-
have done a great job.
Oh, I
will
appreciate
say
that.
Yes, absolutely.
I think, but honestly, I don't care. You could have sat in my chair, and those teams would have won. I ordered buses. I got the teams to games. I kept
But give
coaching.
yourself a little bit more credit.
It's really been a fun ride. I've been blessed. And Larry Shannon's going to do a
golden years. And you can say
You're not
some
dying,
of the
are you?
I'm ready. I might be. I'm ready to get married again. Because you know why?
Here
You
we
know
go.
why? Because I'm not a quitter. I'm going to do it till I get it
Nobody
right.
likes a quitter, Pete.
Nope, I'm going to do it till I get it right, Mike. Easy, I'm doing it.
All right, so you're not. So nothing's bugging. You're just gonna.
No,
be
nothing. But I'm
happy
not going to
Christmas
let.
guy.
Hey, listen, I want to go out on a good note. It's Christmas. It's going to be a good time. I get to spend it with my children. I
Good,
get 2 weeks
good.
off. I'm going to head to Vegas New Year's Day.
Oh, boy.
Spend a couple of nights out there. They comped me the penthouse suite at the Mandalay Bay, so that'll be.
There you go.
Here comes your next fundraiser, folks.
No,
Selling candy in the parking lot.
I take my Venice shirts with some in a lot.
It'll be Pete's picture on the candy bar.
Right?
As long as it's not on a milk carton.
Oh, you can always sell water with his face on the water, the yellow bottle.
Hey, as long as my picture's not on a milk carton, I'm okay. I'm okay.
So I'm going to go what's bugging me real quick. I'm going to go back to the initial conversation because I just really want to say one thing. And I know it's probably going to be sound like it's sour grapes or whatever it may be, but we mentioned a little bit. St. Thomas Aquinas High School.
You think they'll end up 7A?
If they do, then
Here's the thing that I'm going to tell you what happens if we get too much time. A public school has to report their numbers to the Department of Education because you get funds from the government. If you're a private school, because I tried to find their numbers.
Yeah.
How were you 7A with us and played us in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they rearrange and go to 1S, 2S, 3S, 4, and you're in 3. I'm
Right.
not pointing fingers. I'm not
Right.
saying nothing. But I how do they?
Yeah.
How do you get to? I can't shuffle the numbers. I tried.
Yeah.
I
So
tried.
Yeah.
so we've gone down there to play a lot of games.
Yeah.
Okay. Been treated like crap.
Right.
Like absolute dirt. Okay. And they think it's funny or have this little thing, try to trap you in the locker room. They do all kinds of stuff. It's Bush League.
It's
And
classless.
listen, it's classless. Okay. And you know, everybody sort of tries to try to tiptoe around it because you don't want to sound like the guy who just lost or whatever it may
Right.
be. But there we go. So, and I don't know what it is, and I'm going to pick on the FHSA a little bit. Look, that's their goal. That's their golden child. They put them on TV.
Well,
they get all different stuff. They. I'm not saying they had anything to do with the way they beat Coco this year, but they beat Coco on some weird refereeing thing, whatever it
Right.
is. Okay, but the idea is that it can't. It sometimes if it keeps happening, you're in the fire every time. It's you at some point in time, right? And so for when we're getting ready to play our biggest game of the year, and they got to play their biggest game of the year, we were sitting on a street waiting to get in there for, like you said, probably an hour and 15 minutes to get into the game. And somebody from the venue or from the FHSA said, "Oh, there's a problem. There's a van parked in there, and they can't move it."
They couldn't get them off the.
Right.
Yeah.
So they came and lied to us for
Right.
them. Okay. Finally, they said, "Just go," and we had a park right parallel next to them. Our buses and their buses are 2 feet apart. Now you're in a situation where you got angry coaches and angry kids who've been sitting there with kids that you don't like to begin with,
Right.
who are whooping it up. And when we walked off that bus, the first thing I saw was a St. Thomas Aquinas administrator with the fear of God in his eyes because he didn't know what was going to happen when we walked off the bus. And he said, "I'm sorry." No, you are sorry because get your team together.
Well, you know what?
Get your act together
I could
and let
see
the
if
next
that
guy
was
come.
the first time you ever won a state
Right.
championship. They
Yeah,
won 5.
exactly.
I'm going to tell you a story. So I get a phone call one day. George Smith, who was the athletic.
Yeah.
Pete, we like the way you do stuff. You do stuff that would, the Jersey way. You'd be great to come down here to say, I'm retiring. And I said, well, George, I like that. I said, I may come down. You know what the first thing I'm going to do? He goes, no, what? I go, I'm going to take your friggin' name off that. All of a sudden you heard like this, click. yeah.
So-
But they're not, it's sad when, they have a good program. To be classy, to do the right way would make them shine a lot better. But unfortunately, it comes from the top.
Right,
It
and
comes
that's
from
the problem.
administration. It comes from coaches.
What's the constant?
And I told the FHSA, and I said, listen, guys, I couldn't get them off the field. I said, how about we start fining?
Right.
They don't get off the field. You got everything set timeline. There was a
Right.
timeline, $500. That you don't get off, we'll charge you $500. You don't get out of the locker room in time, it's another $500.
Hey, you know what?
Suspended from a spring game. They have to follow policy like everybody else. If that was Venice High, I know they would come up to me going, and if so, Pete, you got to get these kids
Right.
off the field.
And
Pete,
they
you got to
sat
do
there and
that."
made excuses to our coaches, said, "Oh, because the game ran 45 minutes. Why are you yelling at me, coach?" No. 45 minutes was 45 minutes ago.
Right.
Don't tell me that.
Well,
they
my problem
continue to lie for them.
It's communication. The FHSA, when you guys, if I had known an hour ahead of time, you could stay at the hotel.
Right.
If you could text me and say 6:30 game's going to, you could. And then he tried to say, well, he sent you a text. I said, here you go. And that irked me when you said, well, he did send you a text. There was no text on my phone.
Right. And that's so it's all a bunch of lies. And then to do that, and don't think it wasn't with a wink and a nod that they knew
Oh,
exactly
said-
who was coming up to play the next
they
game.
said, we know St. Thomas and Venice doesn't have a good.
It's ridiculous.
They don't get along. And I said, no, we get. I mean, that's ridiculous.
No, it's because you know what it is? They don't like when somebody else steps on their
it's
toes.
steps up
Steps
to
up
But
to
it's
them.
the
Right.
coach who said those kids
Absolutely,
have not
dude.
been around to know that we've had a little friction. It's be a class act. Now you ruined my bucket. Now I was going to
No,
have a
but
good,
here's what it is. And even with that, you could have figured out when you kind of cobbled together the schedule. You put them there. I mean, you can't
I
be
tried
that
to get them to play
stupid.
I called them up, said, "Hey, let's play a regular season game." They wouldn't come. They wouldn't
No.
play. That would be a great.
No.
That would be.
Oh,
a nice,
yeah.
John was
And-
all
and
willing.
by the way,
John doesn't duck anybody.
And I'll tell you this too. So it's just I don't think it's just me or us or whatever. I've spoke to 25 different teams that we've played over the years that have played them or not played them or talked to people that have and they say the same exact thing.
Well, look at the number of
They're the
fights
most
they've-
disliked
yeah.
school in the entire Miami-Dade area. They do the same crap to everybody else. Heck, we were playing the semifinals one year, And the sideline got 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. And when Coach Peacock said, "Hey, he has to go,"
Right.
they
It
said,
goes on the head coach.
Ref said, "I ain't doing that. I'm not going to get out of here alive if I do that."
Yeah.
What are you talking about? So
And
that's the way it
that's
works.
one problem, that if you play your number 1 seed at home, imagine
Well,
us playing
yeah.
a state champion.
Yeah.
I mean, because we go overboard with getting security. I mean, the Riverview game, we had 12 police officers
Right.
there, and that's a cost.
Right.
Hey, how
I
many
mean,
cops did you see at the
I didn't
see
see
any?
Yeah, yeah.
There was
No,
this poor lady. She was
at the gate.
at the gate. She's like, "I'm trying." I'm like, "It's not your fault. You're doing the best you
Well,
can."
when we were coming, there were 3 guys from Lakeland that were right by our gate, by our locker room, yelling at them, and they couldn't find a cop to move them.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
And Lakeland does. And by the way, Lakeland is one of the teams. They don't like St. Thomas and them don't get along either. So
if you're not a class act and you don't win with class, and if you're going to rub people's noses in it, you're not going to be liked.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not. I mean, you can win, but do it with dignity. Like we used to tell the kids when we coach, you get in the end zone, it's not the first time you ever.
Right.
When you when you show your ass,
Right.
you're acting like you've never been there
Right.
before.
Right.
And then you've won 5 state championships. What the hell are you celebrating?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been there. You've done it. Good for you. Do it with class and
have a
get good
parade
name.
when you get home.
Yeah.
So with that, that's
Now you just ruined my.
no, you're good. You're good. So everybody, listen. Thank you for
Cancel
watching the
Christmas.
941 Sports Zone in the year 2023. We will see you back here in
Merry
2
Christmas to
weeks.
you and your
2,
family.
3.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you.
guys. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to
Yeah,
all
Happy
of
New Year.
our fans out there. We appreciate it. We'll see you back here the week of the 8th for the 941 Sports Zone on our new venue. Thank you guys. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, everybody. See you when we come back.